Hey everyone, this is CA Samiksha Sethia. Welcome back to our Let's Update Audit series. In this series, we are covering all the differential portion in the study material of the ICAI that has been issued for your CA Intermediate Auditing for May 21 examination and onwards. So this video series is very important for all those students who are going to appear for the examinations in May 21 or upcoming exam terms. If you have studied, if you have prepared using the old study material, you don't have to go through entirely the new study material once again. You can just update yourself with these changes and additions that have been made. Already we have covered 11 chapters. I have already uploaded all the videos. अगर आपने नहीं देखा है, in the description box of this video I'll give the link to the playlist so you can go and watch it there. All the videos chapter wise have been uploaded earlier. बाकी के जो चैप्टर्स बचे हैं in a few days they will also be uploaded. आज के लेक्चर में, आज के सेशन में हम कवर करने वाले हैं the next chapter, that is company audit. So if you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel to get instant updates. Hit the bell icon to get instant updates whenever I post new videos and updates. Okay, let's now start. So in company audit, not a lot of additions have been made. Only one addition to the topic of audit committee, that is the audit committee, if it is constituted under section number 177 of the Companies Act. In that case, the recommendations for appointment of the auditor, remuneration, the terms of appointment of the auditor, the reviewing and monitoring of the auditor's independence, and the performance and effectiveness of audit process. All these are the functions that the audit committee needs to perform. Also, the audit committee should consist of the directors of the company. It is a committee of the directors of the company, which should constitute minimum 3 directors, out of which majority should be independent directors. Besides, the audit committee also performs other important function. It helps in ensuring the better standards of corporate governance. Alright, okay. Next, अभी कुछ इसमें questions वगैरह add हुए हैं, वो हम देख लेते हैं. Also, the institute had added earlier CARO 2020, but now CARO 2020 is not applicable for the May 21 examination. It may be applicable for November 20 examination. If it would be applicable, तो आपको further update कर दिया जाएगा. Moreover, there are also certain amendments to the Companies Act. Okay, the Companies Amendment Act 2020 has come up, जिसके वजह से कई सारे amendments हैं, कुछ छोटे मोटे amendments हैं आपके company audit में भी. If they are applicable for your May 21 exam, the institute will update us through the RTP और मैं भी आपको तब accordingly update कर दूंगी. Okay, अभी हम कुछ जो correct and incorrect questions हैं, okay, उनको discuss कर लेते हैं. Let's see the first question. The board of director of ABC Limited, a listed company, is required to fill the casual vacancy of an auditor only after taking into account the recommendations of the audit committee. So this statement is correct. Section number 139 subsection 11 tells us that in cases of companies which are required to constitute audit committee under section 177, all the appointments including the filling of casual vacancy should be made only after consideration of the recommendation of the audit committee. Alright, next question देखो. Bhartiya Gas Limited, a government company. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India shall, in respect of a financial year, appoint an auditor duly qualified to be appointed as an auditor of the companies under this Act within a period of 180 days from the end of the financial year, who shall hold office till the end of the next financial year. So, section number 139 subsection 5 tells us that in case of government company or any other company which is owned or controlled directly or indirectly by the government, in that case, in those companies, the auditor shall be appointed by the Comptroller Auditor General of India within how many days? Within 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. So, within 180 days from the commencement, not from the end of the financial year. और इन auditors का tenure क्या होता है? The tenure is till the conclusion of the annual general meeting, till the conclusion of the next AGM. All right. चलो next question देखो. CAK has resigned as an auditor after 2 months of his appointment in NML Limited. He needs to file ADT3 with the registrar within 60 days, within 60 days from the date of such resignation. So section number 140 subsection 2 tells us that ADT3 needs to be filed within how many days? Within 30 days of such resignation. So this statement is also incorrect. So whenever we are answering correct, incorrect questions, guys, first we need to mention whether the statement is correct or incorrect. Thereafter we give the reason. Okay. Next question. The board of director of ABC Limited, a listed company at Bombay Stock Exchange, is required to fill the casual vacancy of an auditor only after taking into account the recommendations of the audit committee. Of course, this statement is also correct. Again, which section? Section number 139 subsection 11. Again, whenever you are writing reasons for your correct incorrect statements, make sure that if there is any reference to any SA or if there is any reference to a particular section of the Companies Act, you should mention that. That gives a better view of your answer. It gives a better impression. All right. Next question. Any partner of an LLP who is appointed as an auditor of the company can sign the audit report. False. This statement is incorrect. Section 141(2) tells us that only partners who are chartered accountants, in practice, they are authorized to sign the audit report on behalf of the firm. So, partners who are chartered accountants, not any partner. Next question. Audit committee is to be constituted by every public company to ensure better standards of corporate governance. Does every public company needs to constitute audit committee? Section 177 states that every listed public company is required to constitute audit committee, and unlisted public companies, if having paid up share capital of 10 crores or more, public companies having turnover of 100 crore rupees or more, or the companies having outstanding loans, debentures, borrowings, deposits exceeding rupees 50 crore. So these companies are required to constitute audit committee, not all public companies. Next question. XYZ Limited is engaged in manufacture of textiles specified under prescribed rules having total turnover of rupees 100 crore, out of which export turnover of rupees 88 crores is in foreign exchange. Very good question. In immediately preceding financial year, the said company is required to get cost audit conducted for immediately preceding financial year. So, if you remember the exemptions from cost audit, वहाँ पर एक point था that companies which are having export revenue in foreign exchange greater than exceeding 75% of the total revenue, they are exempted from getting their cost records audited. So, in this case, the revenue, the export revenue in foreign exchange is more than 75%. Hence, the company is not required to get the cost records audited. So, the statement is incorrect. The provisions of cost audit are not applicable in case of companies having revenue from exports in foreign exchange being more than 75% of its total revenue. As the company is having export turnover of itna, cost audit will not be applicable. Alright. Next question. The auditor has to report under section 143 of the Companies Act 2013 whether company has adequate internal controls in place and the overall effectiveness of such internal controls. Auditor को 143 subsection 3 का clause number I के according auditor needs to report on the internal financial controls. The auditor needs to report whether the company has adequate internal financial controls with reference to financial statements and the operating effectiveness of such controls, not on all the internal controls. Okay, अगला question देखो. Discovery of an offence of a fraud of rupees 100 lakh by the auditor against the company committed by its officers is to be reported to SFIO, Serious Fraud Investigation Office. So, this statement is incorrect because frauds which are greater than or equal to 1 crore, they are to be reported to whom? To the central government, not to the SFIO, to the central government, precisely speaking the Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs in form number ADT4. कौन सा सेक्शन कहता है? सेक्शन नंबर 143 सबसेक्शन 12. Next question, the concept of joint audit has legal foothold under the Companies Act 2013. Again a tricky question. Joint audit का जिक्र क्या कहीं Companies Act में हुआ है? So if you properly think, section number 139 subsection 3, it states that the members in the general meeting may resolve that the audit shall be conducted by more than one auditors. Hence, joint audit has a legal foothold according to section number 139 subsection 3. Clear? So that's all with the correct and incorrect questions. Next we come to the theoretical questions. पहला question देखो. We'll quickly glance through simple questions जो होंगे. मैं आपको बता दूंगी सेक्शन का रेफरेंस, कहीं explanation का requirement हुआ, so we will explain accordingly. ABC Limited is a company incorporated in India. It has branches within and outside India. Explain who can be appointed as an auditor of these branches within and outside India. Also explain to whom the branch auditor is required to report. So guys, in this type of questions, you need to keep in mind one thing, that there are two parts of the question. One is who can be appointed, as branch auditor. Second one is to whom the branch auditor is required to report. So when these type of questions are asked, students generally tend to write only one part, but make sure that you write both the parts. So accordingly, which section will we refer? Section number 143 subsection 8. If the branch is located in India, तब क्या होगा? Either the company auditor or any other person who is qualified to be appointed as auditor according to the Companies Act 2013. If it is located outside India, if the branch is located outside India, the company auditor, who can be the branch auditor? Either the company auditor or any other person or accountant who is qualified to be appointed as auditor according to laws of that country. और ब्रांच ऑडिटर अपनी रिपोर्ट किसको देगा? द ब्रांच ऑडिटर इज रिक्वायर्ड टू सबमिट हिज रिपोर्ट टू द कंपनी ऑडिटर. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. बिफोर द कमेंसमेंट ऑफ द ऑडिट, द जॉइंट ऑडिटर शैल डिस्कस एंड डेवलप अ जॉइंट ऑडिट प्लान. जॉइंट ऑडिट प्लान. In developing the joint audit plan, the joint auditors should identify division of audit areas and common audit areas. Explain stating the other relevant considerations in this regard. So if you remember, there was a topic, points to consider while development of the audit plan. We need to consider the reporting objectives. We need to consider the characteristics of the engagement, the nature, extent, timing of resources required and other similar points. तो वही लिखना था यहाँ पर. Next, Board of Directors of MN Limited wants to appoint CAB, a practicing chartered accountant, as an internal auditor of the company, as they believe that they could not appoint any other person as an internal auditor other than a practicing chartered accountant. Examine the correctness of the statement of the Board of Directors of MN Limited with respect to the provisions of Companies Act 2013. So which section, guys, we are going to refer here? We are going to refer section 138, जो कि इंटरनल ऑडिटर के बारे में, इंटरनल ऑडिट के बारे में बात करते हैं. So section 138 states that the internal auditor of a company may be a chartered accountant, whether in practice or not, cost accountant, or such other professional as may be decided by the board. He may or may not be an employee of the company also. So according to the provisions of section 138, the statements made by the management, the board of directors, is incorrect because auditor may or may not be a chartered accountant. तो जब भी केस स्टडी ओरिएंटेड क्वेश्चन आते हैं, यू शुड डिवाइड योर आंसर्स इनटू 4 पार्ट्स. नंबर 1 इज फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस, वेर यू जस्ट कॉपी डाउन द फैक्ट्स एज गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन. नेक्स्ट शुड बी द एक्सप्लेनेशन और प्रोविजंस. एक्सप्लेनेशन or provisions, wherein you write the provision or the explanation to the case study. Then you write the inference. We relate the case study to the provisions and explanation, and lastly we give a one-line conclusion that whether the statement given by the board is correct or not, whether the auditor is correct in his approach or not, whatever the case study is about. Okay, next question. CANM who is rendering management consultancy service. So guys, if you see my approach of reading the question, you should understand how to read the questions. Whenever you are reading the question, keep marking the important words जिससे आपको hit हो रहा है कि okay, this may be related to this particular concept. Because the syllabus is so huge, if you don't identify the correct topic, you will not be awarded any marks. Because इंस्टीट्यूट सिर्फ वही पॉइंट्स पे मार्क्स देगा जो उनके सजेस्टेड आंसर्स में लिखे गए हैं, तो आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. CANM who is rendering management consultancy service to LA Limited wants to accept offer letter for appointment as an auditor of LA Limited for the next financial year. Discuss with reference to the provisions of Companies Act 2013. Section number 141 subsection 3 clause I. Person or firm who directly indirectly renders the services stated in section number 141 to the company, subsidiary or holding company is disqualified to be appointed as auditor. और 144 में जो services covered है उसमें से एक service is the management consultancy service. Hence auditor would be disqualified to be appointed as the auditor. CANM cannot accept the appointment. अगर उनको appointment accept करना है तो उनको ये management consultancy service वहां पर छोड़नी पड़ेगी. Next question, very interesting. Why the central government permission is required when the auditors are to be removed before the expiry of their term, but the same is not needed when the auditors are changed after the expiry of term? If you remember section number 140 subsection 1, removal of auditor before the expiry of term, we need to take prior approval of the central government. So why is it so? Because if the auditor is removed prior to the expiry of term, it is a serious matter. It may affect the independence of the auditor. Auditor has not given his report and you are going to remove the auditor. It is a serious matter. So in order to prevent the auditor's independence, to safeguard the auditor's independence, this provision has been brought into picture, that at least the central government should know the reason why the shareholders are going to remove the auditor. Maybe the shareholders are doing so in their personal interest. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को ये पता चलना चाहिए, इसीलिए अप्रूवल रिक्वायर्ड है. बट इफ द ऑडिटर इज रिमूव्ड आफ्टर द एक्सपायरी ऑफ टर्म, रिपोर्ट सबमिटेड आफ्टर टर्म हैज एक्सपायर्ड, इट इज नॉट अ सीरियस मैटर, डज नॉट रिक्वायर द इंटरवेंशन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. ओके, next question. The practice of appointing chartered accountants as joint auditors is quite widespread in big companies and corporations. Explain, stating the advantages of joint audit. Very simple question, you can write it. According to Companies Act 2013, the person appointed as an auditor of the company shall sign the auditor's report in accordance with the relevant provisions of the Act. Explain clearly the relevant provisions relating to the signing of audit report. So, which sections do we refer? 141 का 2 जो कहता है कि जिस पर्सन को अपॉइंट किया गया एज ऑडिटर इन केस ऑफ LLPs, ओनली चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स, पार्टनर्स हु आर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट शैल बी ऑथराइज्ड टू साइन द ऑडिट रिपोर्ट. एंड ऑडिट रिपोर्ट से रिलेटेड एक और सेक्शन कौन सा है? सेक्शन नंबर 145. दैट ऑडिट रिपोर्ट इज टू बी साइंड इन अकॉर्डेंस विद सेक्शन 141(2). Any qualifications, observations or remarks in the auditor's report shall be read out in the general meeting and they shall be open to inspection by the members. The auditor shall make a report to the members of the company on the accounts examined by him, explain with reference to the relevant provisions. So, section number 143, refer करेंगे that the auditor is required to report on every account and financial statement examined by him. All accounting standards have been complied with. The audit has been conducted in accordance with the standards on auditing. The financial statements show a true and fair view. इस तरह से हर FS के ऊपर ऑडिटर को जो भी FS और अकाउंट्स एग्जामिन किया उसके ऊपर रिपोर्ट देनी होगी. अगला सवाल, the role of audit committee in corporate governance is not limited to making recommendations for appointment of auditors only. Discuss. So here we discuss the functions of the audit committee, that they are also responsible for fixing the remuneration of the auditor. They are responsible for seeing the overall governance mechanism, for the design implementation of internal controls, internal auditors के comments को scrutinize करना, related party transactions को scrutinize करना, ये सारी functions हो जाते हैं audit committee के. The auditor has to make inquiries on certain matters under section 143(1) of the Companies Act. Discuss these matters. So, if you remember, A, B, C, D, E, F. A, B, C, D, E, F. There were 6 matters. Loans and advances, whether they are prejudicial to the interest of the company. Book entries are prejudicial or not. C से क्या था? Cash. If shares have been allotted for cost. C से cost था. If shares have been sold at a price less than the acquisition cost in case of companies other than banking and investment companies. Whether loans and advances have been shown as deposit, whether personal expenses have been charged to revenue account, whether any shares have been issued for, if the shares have been issued for cash, whether cash has actually been received or not. F से मतलब fraud हमने समझा था, fraud. So if the shares are issued for consideration other than cash, whether the position of balance sheet is misleading or not. Lastly, discuss the purpose of cost audit. What are the legal provisions regarding applicability of cost audit? तो यहाँ पर हम section 148 रेफर करेंगे. Purpose of cost audit में basically the purpose is verification of the cost records, verification of the cost of production, the cost of sales, all right, margin of sales, सब चीजों का verification of all the items of cost including material, labor and other items which have been included in the cost. Okay. So here we have covered all the changes that have been made in the new study material of the ICAI. But guys, इसके अलावा भी और amendments हैं जो इंस्टीट्यूट ने अपनी बुक में अभी तक नहीं incorporate किए हैं. If those amendments would be applicable, आपको एक अलग सी वीडियो में बता दिया जाएगा later on before your exams. Okay? I hope you liked the video and found it helpful. If you like the video, do hit the like button and also share with your friends जिसको आपको लगता है ये वीडियो काम आ सकती है. Moreover, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलिए और अगर आपको कोई भी क्वेरीज है, do let me know in the comment section below. I'll definitely get back to you. Thank you so much everyone. See you in the next video.